Afternoon, one and all. Beautiful day here in France. Welcome to Vibration Energy News from Synergy of Being. My name is Tom Lawless. So, just to recap on what happened last week, pretty much as we said, with the alignments of Mercury, Mars, and Earth. There will be a little bit of a coming together and strong language being used, a bit of a call for war and stuff like that, which we said in the last video around about Wednesday. And what happened? Well, we had a call for the election, and in the UK we had the Chinese government that sort of well, not the Chinese government, the Hong Kong government that sort of backed down on their peace with the demonstrators. So that's obviously kicked off into now as a full-on democracy, wanting to become an independent country to the rest of them, which has all been pretty hectic. So, what's been firing down on Earth in the way of energies this week, and is there anything that we should be concerned about? Let's have a quick look at the sun and see what's going on there. We pick up the sun pretty much where it left off last week, with that departing coronal hole that was in the middle, that was causing a few earthquakes going across into mainland Asia. You might see a few bit of bright spots coming through at this present moment. Now, they look like they were going to be sunspots until the usual habitual situation where it came into confrontation with the Earth and decided to give up the ghost. There was actually 3 of them, but they all sort of faded out very quickly, so there wasn't much in the way of vibration there. And even the corona holes were not really highly active. We only had the corona hole in the northern hemisphere. This could well be because we are coming into the changing of the solar cycles, and the sun could be into its reversing of its poles, which it does on a regular basis once every sort of 11 or 22 years. But as I say, those corona holes have not been very active, and we've had very few in the way of sunspots that we can see here, just those trailing little faint things that we see coming out on the right hand side. So the earthquakes have all been very grouped and clustered, I've got to say, in certain chakra areas, and we'll be going through that at the moment. But the main news for the weather this week was all that wind and rain with the Hurricane Dorian and etc., which we can see on the right hand side here, the filaments. And last week, if you were paying attention, there was a lot of filaments going on, and therefore that creating a lot of wind and typhoons and rain. So as we start coming into the earthquake, let's just give us a quick reminder of those hot spots, which are the chakra points across the Earth, and how they will eventually affect us. So when you get a cluster of earthquakes around that area, it is a release of that type of energy. So we'll just go through now pretty much what was happening last week in the earthquake situation. Here we see the earthquakes that were hitting the Earth last Friday or Saturday, the 30th, into the night of the 30th and the beginning of the 31st. As you can well see, they're pretty much clustered, and we finally get that last section going across mainland Asia, across the crown chakra. Then the grouping started to go more towards the throat chakra, and we had a little bit around the root chakra as well. So verbal stuff started coming out already at the beginning of the week. We could see that in also the votes and stuff like that happened in the UK. The following day, on the Monday and the Tuesday, we had the heart chakra started to getting it, so people started to get a little bit more sort of passionate about it. There was still not much in the way of the sacrum, but the root and the plexus solis was becoming very much more active. We can still see this here now, and as it ran out the system at the top through the North Pole. Then we can start seeing a breakout for Tuesday and Wednesday, where the crown chakra really started to get it. Things started getting a little bit diverse and spread out, where actually maybe the plans for the future were coming to a head. And this was the alignment of Mars and Earth, just as Mercury had slipped out of that alignment and the message had come through, and Boris Johnson had announced he would like a general election. With this announcement, we had the plexus solis coming into play, and everybody started jostling for position and trying to force their point of view on everybody else around them. We could see that this wasn't going to really get forced through because there was not much activity going on the root chakra. So that was the alignment that was coming out of place, and we'll look into that later on because there's more alignments coming up for us this coming week. And as the following day progressed through, then we started getting into some quite extraordinary activity coming into Africa, Central Africa, running it out across through Asia, the crown chakra getting involved, the root chakra getting a lot more active, and the plexus solis. There was no sacrum activity during that period there, so the ego of each of the people concerned could not actually be imposed upon the rest of the population. But as the week came to a final close, there was this second bout of running through of earthquakes across the whole of the earth. And there is another reason for this as well, and this has to do with our solar system as it gradually rings out through all the chakras on the earth this week. So what's going on with the planets at the moment? As we can see, there is a lot going on in the way of alignments. There you have, we're starting last week with the alignments of Earth and Mars. But as we go through the time on the 7th and the 8th mainly, there's also an alignment between Mercury and Venus. Now, this will mean that there's a message of love coming through on Monday, and maybe solutions for the situation, not only for Brexit, but also with America and Iran, with their boat situation, and maybe also for Hong Kong. There is also another alignment that's coming up much later on in the month between Pluto and Saturn. There is the final alignment, which is quite interesting, which at the end of it comes around about the 12th, which is between Earth, Mars and Neptune. So around Thursday next week, you should be looking at people who will be announcing illusionary plans, basically, trying to force them upon other people. So look out for that around you for the coming week. So don't forget, love at the beginning of the week on Monday and Tuesday, and the false plans or false misguided plans by the end of the week, running into the next vibration energy news, which should be out for next Friday or Saturday. Remember in the earthquake section where we were talking about a little bump that happened in the earthquakes, which spread earthquakes across the earth? This is what it's all about. Now, this is a thing of the magnetic field of the earth, and where you can see the magnetic field is really calm is when it's green. If it goes up into yellow and red, certainly red, that's when it starts getting really buzzed. But we can actually see the two yellow bar sections. Now, they are where the Earth has gone right through the magnetic field of the Sun, where the Sun has arms on the magnetic field, and that gives us a bump in the system. And because the Sun is not giving us any vibrations at the moment, the Earth is expressing herself. Therefore, you're going to get earthquakes running across the Earth in all chakras. So you might feel at times that you have your entire body zinging. Hi, so let's just give a recap about what's going on for this coming week. You probably might be seeing this on Sunday or Monday. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share and all of that sort of stuff. It helps with the algorithms to try and get this message out there. But on Monday and Tuesday, you should get the opportunity to express a message of love, basically, or a message of understanding, a message of clarity within this confrontational vibration we have at the moment between Mars and the Earth, as it gets played out with the connections with the Sun and their alignments. But on the Monday and Tuesday, you might be able to see clear, and you might want to, if you do, speak to someone who you love, who you want to say something to them, it might be a good moment at that point to get your message through and get it clearly understood or clearly heard by the person that you want to say it to. Hopefully this sort of love will also come out in the geopolitical world. I don't think so somehow, but we can always hope. We can certainly always hope. So that'll be on the Monday and Tuesday. Unfortunately, after that, then Mercury moves out of the way. I can't see anything in the sun in the way of coronal holes or sunspots coming through for the next coming week. They will develop from time to time, but we are coming into that period, coming up to that equinox at the 21st of September, where the Earth will, certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, will be calming right down in the southern part of the hemisphere. It will have that breather before it picks up again in 2 to 3 months' time. But so it's a transitional period, a moment of calming coming up in the Earth and the Earth's vibration, and hopefully that will dampen that as a confrontational sort of stuff that we're getting out of the stars, because the sun itself is not actually bringing us a lot of stuff. With that alignment with Neptune, I can't remember the name now, Neptune, this is what you've got to look out for the later on in the week, from Thursday onwards, is people giving illusionary plans, and certainly coming through media, coming through film, or could be coming through Facebook and stuff like that people are saying to you through Facebook. I don't necessarily think it'll be a direct thing where you're talking to people directly, but it will mainly come through social media and through the human matrix, electrical matrix and stuff like that. So just watch out for that on Thursday and Friday. It will be a confrontational sort of illusion as well. So it's basically kind of going, take this or we're all going to die sort of thing. And that can come out in many fields. It could come out in the geopolitical world, but it also could come out in the the environmentalists, for example, and stuff like that. And so just be careful of that sort of message and getting swept up in illusionary sort of things in the latter part of this week. As for vibrations within your own body and your health-wise beings, as I say, in the Northern Hemisphere, things will start calming down. So just take the time maybe to go out for a bit of a swim somewhere with yourself or with some friends and what have you, or maybe go for a sauna or something like that. Just treat your body nicely for the week and make sure you're feeling good inside your body. There shouldn't be any real major health issues other than that, apart from headaches and hearing and eye issues by the looks of things, but it's not very hectic on that sort of front. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. I will be doing a live longer view on my Facebook page, on the Synergy of Being Facebook page. So don't forget, subscribe to the channel, like, share and everything like that. Come over to the Facebook page, like the Facebook page, share the Facebook page and all of that malarkey. And I will be doing a live view where you can actually be asking questions, and we can go into a lot more depth into the star signs, into your individual star signs as well, of how this energy is affecting you and affecting your chakras and your aura system. In the meantime, my name's Tom Lawless. I hope you've managed to get something from this week vibrational news. Don't forget, we'll be doing it all again next week, next Friday. Keep an eye out for some videos as well on the YouTube channel. Don't forget, in the meantime, it should be fun, so please do enjoy.